Welcome to another episode of the Green Spotlight. I am Lester Malta, the assistant principal at Dorsey High School, and I welcome you to another episode of the Green Spotlight. Today we have a very special topic. Everybody's talking about Dorsey athletics, and I just had to bring the experts on that subject matter so we can learn a little bit more about the past, the present, and the future of Dorsey athletics. So I'm going to ask each one of them to introduce themselves. And while they introduce themselves, they're going to talk to you a little bit about the past. How do they get involved in athletics at Dorsey High School? And what is it that they lived through Dorsey High School that made them come back and made them be part of the athletics team at Dorsey High School? So let's start with Miss Newbill, our AD. Miss Newbill.
Hello. Wow, this is an honor, to talk about Dorsey and just how I got to Dorsey and how I'm still at Dorsey. I'm Charlotte Newbill, and many of you guys may know Hindi because that was the name that I wore for many years at Dorsey. And I'm currently now the athletic director. And prior to that, I was the girls' head basketball coach for about almost 20 years.
Coach, before we move on to Coach Dobson, why Dorsey? Why Dorsey? I mean, I think that everybody just wants to know what is it about Dorsey and athletics?
Dorsey and athletics. Dorsey is family, and so why Dorsey? I actually was supposed to go uh, to a school in the Valley because at the time I was being bused in middle school, and I was to go to Granada Hills, and the travel to Granada Hills every day for the last 3 years was enough for me. And so because I had family that had graduated from Dorsey, it was a no-brainer. I'm going home. And so that's how I ended up back at Dorsey. And actually at the time I was living in Crenshaw's district. And so I had to get a permit to actually go to Dorsey because that was not my home school at the time. So it was banked that I was going to Dorsey. So that was no answer about it. My sister, my brother, my cousins, they had already graduated from Dorsey. So it was time for me.
Dorsey family, definitely.
Yes.
Coach Dobson, how long you been with Dorsey? Introduce yourself.
Well, my name is Coach Dobson. I've been at Dorsey for 20 years. I got there through family. My family, all my cousins went there 62, 64, 66, 68, 72. And from playing in the community, playing football at Baldwin Hills Rec Center, and then playing baseball at Rancho, that was kind of like a no-brainer. A lot of us moved from those two organizations straight to Dorsey. So it's like a community effort.
And what is it about Dorsey and baseball? How is that program historically? Um, can you talk to us a little bit about the history of baseball at Dorsey?
Well, baseball at Dorsey has a longer tradition than a lot of other sports, even though now it's track and field and football are the front runners. But baseball, uh, our coach, Bud Brubaker, introduced the LA City Championships in the 40s, and he called it the Dorsey Tournament. So everybody gathered at Rancho at the end of the season, and they started the LA City Championships, which ultimately moved to Dodger Stadium. We have a long history of Dorsey alum that have played baseball: Sparky Anderson, Marcel Renee Latchman, Billy Consolo, Chili Davis, Daryl Thomas, and the list just goes on and on. So we do have a great baseball tradition and a great baseball history at Dorsey High School. We just lost a great one, Art Mansmania. He graduated from Dorsey, went to USC, helped them win a national championship, and then came back to Dorsey and coached the championship in that same Dorsey tournament. So Dorsey is all around baseball.
Got it. All right, and let's talk to our newest head coach, our football coach, Stefan Johnson. Stefan, you are not new to Dorsey, so can you introduce yourself?
How you guys doing? My name is Stefan Johnson, newly head football coach here at Dorsey. Happy to be here.
you're an alum of Dorsey High School.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm an alum from Dorsey High School. Um, Proud alum of Dorsey High School. I definitely want to add that. Um, it's definitely a pleasure. It's definitely an honor to be representing and be in this position that I am. I put this position in so much of a high pedestal growing up. You know, Coach Knox was a great mentor to me um, my whole life, basically. I was born and raised in Dorsey. So a lot of people kind of know me as a little kid. I was running around. My father coached track since 1981 at Dorsey. So I've been around.
So let me go back to Coach Newbill. Um, in regards to the present, so we are going through a pandemic, and everybody's asking, when are we going to go back to play? When are we going to when are we going back to athletics? Can you talk to us a little bit about what we have learned through this process of going through this pandemic?
Well, yeah, I know the question has come up a lot about when we're going back. And of course, as a school district and as a school site, safety is definitely priority. If the school and the students aren't safe, we're not, taking a risk with our student athletes. And so currently right now, I know, we're widespread as a LA County, and we've been looking at the numbers and wanting to make sure those numbers are going down and to ensure that our students are safe, and as well as our coaches. Our coaches have been eager to get back to work with the kids. And so currently the plan has been to, open up the schools to even just doing conditioning, because we know how much the students need each other as well as the coaches. They need to be able to be around each other. They need to be able to, work with each other because this has been hard. But I think overall for us in the present right now, we're just trying to make sure that when we come back safe. If we're working in pods, we're working with signs to distinguish where we can and cannot go. And so that's the next move right now, is to come back to condition, and so the kids' morale can be boosted, and we can work together.
Thank you. And you do have the tough role of screening all the athletes and making sure that they're clear, before we even start, conditioning. Can you talk a little bit about that?
That's the toughest part right now, because many of our student athletes, you have to be cleared physically. So you have to go into a doctor's office and get a physical. And oftentimes that's been challenging because of the pandemic, because we've been overcrowded at our hospitals. We've done above and beyond to bring a clinic to the school to come to give students physicals there. But still, it's a challenge. And then making sure that each student has medical insurance and all the liability documents are signed. And doing that in a digital world is a challenge as well, because, as you know, many of us, the hotspot may not work, the laptop may not work, but we have to get those documents in place, and those things have to happen for each athlete before we can even condition with that athlete.
Yeah, it gets a little complex. And then it goes into the coaches. And the coaches trust that all the students have been clear, and they also assist in and making sure that the students have been clear, because the rules are very clear. So as soon as we are able to get the go from the district, we're going to go back and we're going to make sure that everything is safe and we follow the safety protocols, and hopefully we will get back to what is considered normal, correct?
Correct. Yes, definitely.
Coach Dobson, I would like to ask you about your program with baseball. Now that we had this time to sort of reset, what is your vision for the baseball program as soon as we get back and start conditioning and get that go that our season is going to start? What is your vision for Dorsey baseball?
Well, if we can get back on the field, I guess it's our season now. We've lost 1 month already. But if we can get back on the field and just compete, that's all I want them to do, is be able to compete. If we can get back on the field, everybody's got to be healthy. That's our number one priority. As coaching safety is your number one priority. So if we can get those guys back here and get them up to speed, and Lord willing, they were doing the all-season regiment that they're supposed to be doing, we won't be that far behind the curve. But if we can get back on the field just to be competitive, hopefully everybody's a little bit less competitive than we are, but just to be competitive is all I want to do right now. But sports, in another sense, sports is not at this level. It's not about the sport. It's about overcoming adversity, and this is one of those challenges that, as a team and as a collective, we have to be able to overcome. You need your battle buddies in life, just like you need them on the field. So if we can go out there and compete after having something like this happen to us, that sets the stage for later on in life for these young people.
Got you. Coach Stefan Johnson, what is the vision for football? Everybody's asking, what about football? What are we going to do? What is your vision as the head coach?
My vision is to get the babies back home. I think this getting them back into a social environment, being amongst their peers, being amongst their fellow football teammates, and just getting back into the swing of things instead of just looking at their computer screen and looking at home every day. Is getting to our kids mentally, getting to our kids, like I said, socially, and just to get them back all into one, getting back into the community. I think that we kind of turned a blind eye in a sense in the last couple of years. So we want to definitely get the community back involved. I think that utilizing Rancho Cienega Rec Center, like Coach Dobson mentioned, is definitely a plus for us, and we have to definitely tap into that. Um, and like I said, just getting everybody back together. That plays a huge part in everything. Our football program is definitely doing great things considering the pandemic. We have a lot of different kids that are willing to come in and contribute and be great student athletes to our Dorsey High Rich tradition, and that's what it's all about. Leading them to understand the tradition that Dorsey has, and these circumstances that we're going through right now is nothing but a testament as to what Dorsey really is really about. We never had the best resources. We never had the best facilities. We never had the best of anything, but we always came out successful, and we always made sure that our babies was able to make it to the next level. So that's our goal. That's our mindset, to be students first, athletes second, and allow football to be a great catapult into a great human being, a great manhood.
And that comes across with all three of you as role models for our students. I think resiliency is something that all three of you portrayed. All of us at Dorsey have been very resilient and have gone through so much. And our students deserve, to go back and to do their best and to show everybody that they are resilient, and they are, and we know that. So with that, Ms. Newbill, what about our athletics program as a whole? Do you see a great future for all of us?
As a whole, do I see a future for us? As a whole, I think we are definitely building a legacy, because one of the things that Dorsey has that many other schools do not have, as you see on this call, on this right now, is that we have coaches that are from the school. We have alumni that come back. And I think that's one of the things that we have been proud of, to have coaches come back. Currently have about 7 or 8 of our coaches that have played for the school and come back. And I think that lends itself to building deep, because as you know, coaching in the inner city, it's not lucrative. We do it because we have a passion for it. We do it because we love what we can give to the kids and what the kids give to us. And so, as a whole, I see our program growing. I see our program, being able to continue to compete as we've been doing with some of the best out there. And so I look forward to, us being competitive, being a school that academically has the rigor that, drives kids to the next level at college, which, many of our student athletes have been at the top of the bar for that. They've gone on to school and gone on to college. So that's what I look for the future.
And Coach Dobson, I know that you have a lot of experience, and you often talk to me about being a coach, not only inside, the sport, but outside. I know that you have this philosophy of building discipline and building a well-rounded individual. Is that how you see yourself as a coach?
Well, coaching is, like I tell people all the time, what we do today is not all together for today. On the back of the t-shirts that we have is called Building Winning Leaders. That's the motto that I try to use. When we talk about building, it's building students, building athletes as individuals, winning our school's games. Now, when I say winning our school's games, it's not about the games that we play on the field. It's no matter where we go, we're going to be challenged, and we have to rise to that occasion on the field and in the classroom, or reverse, in the classroom and on the field. When we get out in society, we represent Dorsey, so we have to win those battles too, because we have a negative connotation sometimes. So when we see those individuals that have graduated that are putting out maximum efforts, they say, well, Dorsey wasn't really that bad. We just won a game. And then leadership, building young people to get up and go out and become productive members of society and take the mantle that Coach Newbill, Coach Johnson has, Coach Knox had, and the rest of us, and move that forward and leadership. So, if we can put all of those things together as coaches, as faculty, as administrators, we got a dynamic school.
And Coach Johnson, I'm going to ask you my last question, if I can. And that my question to you is regarding teamwork. I know, and I've seen it myself, that we talk often about family, and Dorsey is a family. How important is teamwork, not only for our students to learn, but for you as a coach? The word teamwork, what does that mean to you?
I think the word the term teamwork, I think, was what drove me to come to Dorsey. Like I said, the family atmosphere, the tradition of it, and it always, and they have one big saying all for one for all. And I kind of took that and made it my own as far as all for one. And I think that once you deal with something, it's kind of hard. It takes a village, like they say. And it's kind of hard to do something by yourself. So being able to know that I'm going through the same things that my brother is going through, I'm going through the same problems in class, going through the same issues of learning plays, going through the same issues of socially not being accepted and things of that nature, and knowing that your teammate is doing the same thing and being able to feed off each other. I think very, very important to build that brotherhood. I think that once you do that, it becomes contagious. It becomes one thing that it leads from player to player to player, and that's when you get those group of kids that become successful. Those group of kids that do a lot of things that are very special because those group of kids came together as one. So I think that teamwork is what we kind of build our whole thing around, as far as the athletic department in general. I see a lot of, like I said, baseball players come to the football games, track runners going to the basketball games, and so on and so forth. And me being there the last couple of years is prior to, I think that's what motivated a lot of the kids, to know that their brother or their sister that they go eat and joke with and have fun with also is right there with them in the time of war, so to say.
Thank you. So, I'm so happy that the athletic department is on board in regards to working as a whole. It really doesn't matter what sport you play. You are still playing for Dorsey, and you represent the Dons and Donnas, and that is a lot. We weighs a lot on the shoulders of each of our student athletes that wears that uniform. And so with that, I thank you so much. I know that this is not the first time that we're going to see. I just wanted to, put out there the information. And thank you, Ms. Newbill, Coach Dobson, Coach Johnson. I know the information regarding athletic is going to be on our webpage, dorseydons.org. I know that they can always reach out to any of you and you will respond. Anything else that you want to add before we end?
Bring our babies back home. We miss y'all.
We miss the kids and we're ready to continue, the legacy that Dorsey has a great tradition of. And so I know some of our ninth graders out here, this is the first time and they're excited and they're ready, to be a part of the Dorsey family. So we can't wait to meet and greet you.
And we're ready for them, definitely. We are ready.
Well, iron sharpens iron. Marines make Marines. Dons make Dons.
Well said.
Well said, boy. You always give me with one, Doc. You always give me with one.
Well, thank you so much, all of you. And until next time, thank you for watching.